Hello and welcome back to Shamrock Fresh. I'm Chef Chris Casson, and for many chefs, the idea of making fresh pastries in-house can be a bit daunting. Now today we're going to take a look at the Sweet Street line that Shamrock Foods stocks. And if you're not familiar with Sweet Streets, they carry a full line from your basic bars and torts to your red velvet and chocolate cakes. Now whether you're supplying your entire pastry menu with pre-made desserts or you're just looking to fill in here and there, hopefully we can show you some items today that will fit your needs. We're going to look at some plate presentations as well as some different varieties. Let's go take a look at what we have on the table. So we're going to start more on the simplistic side here, and the first two items we're going to look at is the raspberry Sammy as well as the fabulous chocolate chunk brownie. Now the Sammy is going to have the raspberry jam running right through the center just between the buttery shortbread crust. So very simplistic but nice plate presentation. And then on the chocolate chunk brownie, you've got a chewy brownie versus cake, and it's filled with chunks of bittersweet and semi-sweet chocolate as well as Hershey's milk chocolate kisses. So it's going to give you that nice chewy brownie that's not going to dry out as it sits on the plate. Now the next item is your more traditional style New York cheesecake, and as you can see, the one thing I always like to point out, very few air bubbles, which just means that it's been cooked perfectly as far as the time and the temperature. So an old classic, but definitely a great item to keep on the menu, and you can jazz it up however you'd like with the sauces or fresh berries. Now this one I think is fun, very unique. This is a raspberry white chocolate cheese brulee. So you've got white chocolate cheesecake, you've got raspberry swirl running through it, the graham cracker crust, and the best part, if you look right on top, is you have bruleed top. So almost like a creme brulee, not quite as dark in color, but it definitely gives the appearance that you've been making these in-house. So the next three and last three items that we're going to look at here from Sweet Street are going to be a little bit more on the unique side, a little more outside of the box. Now everybody's familiar with the red velvet cake, a little more traditional in style, but it's definitely making a comeback, and especially when you get that deep red cake and it's going through the dining room, it's something that's very eye-appealing. Now this is a red velvet cake, and between the layers it has a deep chocolate truffle filling. And then it's actually frosted with real cream cheese, which is always nice, the traditional style of a red velvet cake. And then it's topped with some of the chocolate sauce as well as some of the little chips. So, you know, for plate presentation, for nice color, and yet an easy item to be able to prepare and put out to your customers, the red velvet cake makes a great addition to your dessert menu. All right, everybody loves a great tiramisu, and a lot of times it's hard to find one out of a box that is going to taste as good as something you would make in-house. Now, I challenge you that we may have found it here, because this tiramisu is very traditional in style. It's going to come in a box, so you'll cut the squares to the size that you're looking for. It's got a light mascarpone cream, and then it's got coffee and rum-soaked ladyfingers. Now, we cut one open here so you could actually see it laid out, but they are more like the traditional ladyfingers, nice and fat, layered on the bottom with the mascarpone on top, and then it's finished with an imported cocoa. And you can see that it's still the cocoa, even though it is adhered to the top of the dessert, it's still nice and powdery, so it's not moist, it's not packed down, so it is going to give that presentation of a more in-house made tiramisu, not something that has come out of the box. All right, this last one looks very fun. This is a turtle molten bundt. Now it's a chocolate bundt cake, and you can see it's an individual portion, very cute if you will, and it's been drizzled in with chocolate. Now the best part about this is that because it's a molten cake, very much like a lava cake as they call them, as your customer cuts into it, all of the caramel that's on the inside, which is obviously what's making it the turtle, the caramel and the pecans are going to ooze out onto the plate, and now you've got your chocolate, your caramel, your pecans, and your turtle, if you will, but in a dessert form that's nice and warm for them to finish up the meal with. So definitely looks like something you would make in-house, and you've got that presentation with a little bit of the action from the customer cutting into it and it oozing out onto the plate. So we've shown you the broad line that Sweet Street offers here at Shamrock Foods. Now from your simplistic bars to your cheesecakes to your red velvet, tiramisus, there's a lot of offerings that you can put on your plate for your customers. Now we also have a gluten-free option, which is a hazelnut cappuccino torte. Now you can get with your sales rep. They have catalogs showing all of our stock items as well as full color pictures and pack sizes. I hope you enjoyed this version of Shamrock Fresh, and we'll see you again next week.